All right, hey folks, we're going to do some game design today. We're going to work on spell point sorcerers using the color mana system that we have published on DMsGuild already. There's a link to it down below. I'm going to check my signal real quick, make sure we're coming through, and then we'll get up and running. So doing a quick mic check here, 1, 2, 3. So doing a quick mic. That sounds pretty good. I'm going to drop that back down so it doesn't get in the way, and I got to grab this link real quick. YouTube, doesn't seem like YouTube provides us with a link to the channel until we actually go live, which makes sense. But that's why you see like these countdowns, like 4-minute countdowns or whatever in front of people's live plays, is so they can actually like do the social media posts that go along with this. Well, I'm not that elegant, so I'm just gonna talk at you guys for a few minutes here while I do all of those postings. And you can skip ahead a minute if you want, and we'll get in. You can catch up with me after the bump. Hey, I create role-playing games. I illustrate them and I publish them online. My name is Phil Kearney. I stream 9 times per week, Monday through Friday in the morning. I do artwork for whatever book is going to get published next, which is right now an Eberron adventure. And then on Tuesdays and Friday lunchtimes like this, as well as Mondays and Thursday nights like last night, I stream game design for books that will eventually be illustrated and published online. So we're currently working on the Spell Point Sorcerers, and let me do my screen flips here just to conclude my intro. Like, subscribe, hit the bell icon for notifications when we're live in the future if you think this stuff is cool today. Here is a here's the color mana system that we published on DMsGuild, and here's a bunch of other books that I've published as well. They all these books that I published myself have free previews, 100%. You can read them cover to cover. If you think they're cool, consider making a purchase to encourage similar behavior in the future. This is the 12th episode of us developing Spell Point Sorcerers with the color mana system. You can see more details about the color mana system and Spell Point Sorcerers here and here. And we're actually dropping all of this into the Martial Powers document, which if you click this link here, it will coast through my Patreon, which will be updating next month with more goodies. But you don't have to be a member to access this. Just click through. Here's the YouTube stream. You can click through here on the Martial Powers button, and it takes you to a read-only document. Today we're going to focus on the Lunar Sorcery, which I really wish that Wizards of the Coast would update their shit so that you could read. Like, this doesn't have indication that this came from the Dragonlance book. If you don't own it, you find out you can't look at this until you have the Dragonlance book. But if you own the Dragonlance book, I have to know this came from the Dragonlance book. Otherwise, it just spills into shadow magic. I think they need to improve D&D Beyond. If they had put a fraction of the money that they wasted on Project Failure instead, if they had put that money into making this website better instead of trying to add a virtual tabletop to it, I think we would all be better off. But that's why I'm not a billionaire. So I don't think, like, how do I take advantage of people? So la-di fucking da. We're going to work on let's go ahead. Actually, let's grab this document here since everyone can read along with me. This is a big document. It has a full conversion of adding color mana to all the martial characters and develops a completely independent magic system to spend that mana on that parallels half casting to help bring marshals up in power to mirror full casters in a different way. But while we're at it, we're also updating all of the full casters too. So this is the monk. Let's tool down. I think it's like around page 135 that we get into. Yeah, we're still in War and Artificers here. Here we go. This is the Sorcerer subclasses. The Aberrant Sorcery we already completed for 2024. Clockwork we completed for 2024. Draconic we completed for 2024. Wild Magic we completed for 2024. And then we have the Forsaken Sorcery, those that didn't make the 2024 cut but still exist. So we have the Divine Sorcery, which has been resolved, and this is where we're continuing, the Lunar Sorcery here. But we've already done Shadow Sorcery and Storm Sorcery, and I believe Yeah, we did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, this is the last one. I gotta say, I'll just be full disclosure here. Lunar sorcery is my least favorite sorcery. I don't think this was built well, so I am potentially. I'm only just now starting to chew on this, so I may deviate away from how they created what they did in Dragonlance. I may end up going in a different direction, so we'll see how stuff plays out. But yeah, I can hear myself still, so I need to drop down the volume on the YouTube just a little bit more. There we go. That'll probably be fine. Okay, so here's our Lunar Sorcery. Here's our sheet. Let's start plugging in the features first. We'll go with level 3 variant Lunar Sorcery spells. We'll see. We'll see how this turns out. Lunar Sorcery spells, when you reach the sorcerer level specified in the Lunar Sorcery spells table, you thereafter always have let's see, how do I want to do this? Lunar Embodiment, you learn additional spells. Lunar Embodiment. So we show here all the subclasses gain 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 spells over the course of 9 levels. But the Lunar Sorcerer gets 15. He gets them all installed right away. And you get a free casting of the spell equal to your proficiency modifier. You can cast spells and meta magic for free using these spells. You can switch between them. And let's see, you gain a passive ability. Yeah, when you switch between them, you gain a passive, an instant effect that goes along with it. And you can magically teleport to an unoccupied space that you see within yourself 60 feet. You can bring along a creature with you. Creature teleports to an unoccupied space of your choice. And gains resistance to all damage until the start of the next turn. Jesus. Once you use one of these bonus action benefits, you can't use that benefit again until you finish a long rest, unless you spend 5 sorcery points to use it back, to use it again. Okay, those are good. I like that. I like the pacing. The 5 sorcery points pretty much lines up with what we've been doing with the system in general. The Lunar Phenomenon is it's Lunar Empowerment. This coincides with the Sorcery Rage, whatever it's called. That lines up with this. I'm going to actually... Let's drop down. Bard, Druid, Sorcerer. Here's our Sorcerer Scaffold. There, so we'll be making reference to this. The innate sorcery feature, that's it. Okay, so just to recap people that aren't already familiar with the previous episodes, spell points, typically a full caster gets 80 spell points by 20th level. The sorcerer combines spell points with their sorcery points that you would have from spell slots, so we have a total of 100 mana by 20th level. The cost to cast a spell is 1 point per level. You can upcast spells at 19th level to the 10th to a 10th level spell. Wish is considered a 10th level spell, so we push Wish back to 19th level. Sorcery magic, you can have the meta magic costs different spell point costs, and the maximum amount of spell points you can add to a spell that you cast is based on your max sorcery, which is a half casting progression. So say at 5th level, you can add 2 mana. You can cast a 3rd level spell, and then you can add 2 meta magic to it for a total of 5 mana spent. This is again at 5th level. You can't do, you get 21 points. So you can parse these things out, or you can Nova if you want, up to you. But there's first rank, second rank, third rank, and fourth rank meta magic. So we have a stack of meta magic options that cost anywhere from 1 to 4 points. If you are, say, a 13th, well, let's go up to cap. At 17th level, you can channel up to 5 meta magic when you cast a spell. And it could be, since meta magic caps at 4th, you could have, say, a 4th level a 4th rank meta magic and a 1 mana magic. So that'd be a total of 5. Or you could have like a 3rd and a 2nd, so that'd be 5 mana. Or you could have 2, 2, and 1. Or you could have 5 1 mana meta magics. You can stack them up to modify a spell or a cantrip, multiple modifications, which limited the palette of things that we could offer as meta magic, because if you stack up too many things, the synergy gets too strong. But it's looking like the meta magics that we've chosen are either contrary, so you would deal one or the other, like damage, like switching damage type. You wouldn't stack damage types. It would just be of the points that you spend, choose what type of damage you want to do when you cast the spell, so you'd only spend 1 in that sense. Like we don't have things like increase the area of effect, because that has unpredictable effects for how statistically strong your character is based on how many opponents there are and what the space is available to expand spells, for instance. So we have a lot of modifiers in here, but for the most part, they don't over synergize. Like for example, if you used exploding spell with imploding spell at the same time, it would be let's see, where's that at? Yeah, explosive and implosive. Explosive, when you cast a spell that deals damage within an area of effect, choose a number of creatures affected by your charisma modifier. A chosen creature is pushed up to 10 feet away from the effect's point of origin, and it stops moving if the space it would enter is occupied. Implosive space, when you cast a spell, choose charisma modifiers. Chosen creatures are pulled up to 10 feet towards the effect's point of origin. The creature stops moving if the space it would enter is occupied. You could technically stack these two things together. They cost 2 points each, so you can't put them together until you're level 13. But when you do, you could technically push people out and then pull them back in again. Or you could pull them in and then push them out again. Technically, it's your choice. If you're using the martial power rules with this, forced movement triggers opportunity attacks. So you could combo this, or you could set this up so that your allies, you could push somebody into somebody's space and then pull them out again, so that you could trigger so you could have your allies trigger opportunity attacks on them by pulling them around. And of course, enemies can do this too, so it's balanced. But it also helps collapse time frames, and it helps blow through rounds of combat faster, because like if you're allowing forced movement to trigger opportunity attacks, if you're using, like, say, the push mastery on your Warhammer, you could push somebody, and then as they leave your area of effect as a result of the push, you could then hit them with an opportunity attack on the way out. So you can wombo combo. You can set up your own combos on people by doing those sort of things. So super fun stuff. Anyway, so that's how meta magic works. And so yeah, we'll probably be taking a look at some of these effects, but the innate sorcery is an effect that triggers, that's our sorcery rage that'll probably come up during the course of today. So I'm going to peel open just a blank notepad so that I can cut paste stuff out of here and modify it. So let's start at the beginning. Innate here. Variant, lunar embodiment. When you reach, let's see, flavor text. You learn additional spells when you reach certain levels in the class as shown on the table below. Each of the spells count as a sorcerer spell for you. I can insert that. That's good language. A P poop pop. I'm just going to cut paste that for now. And we're going to do it like Sorc level. And then we're going to do, we'll do what? Full, new, and crescent. Is that how that works? Full new crescent. I don't know why they didn't put them in alphabetical order, honestly. Don't know. Fuck you. I'm going to do it this way. New crescent full. Yeah, let's do it this way. New is Ray of Sickness. Lesser Restoration. Oh wait, that's the wrong one. Blindness, Deafness. We're gonna walk through some of this stuff together, I think. Vampiric Touch. Confusion. Hold monster. Yeah, there we go. Okay, and then we want Crescent, which is going to be color spray. Alter self. Phantasmal. Phantom Steed. Hallucinatory terrain. Mislead. Full moon is shield. Lesser restoration. Dispel magic. Death. Ward. Raries. Telepathic bond. Let's see. You learn additional spells, blah, blah, blah. Whenever you finish a long rest. Whenever you finish a long rest, you can choose what lunar phase manifests its power through your magic. Full, new crescent, or full. New moon, crescent moon, or full moon, period. And you can expend 1 mana as a bonus action to switch, to change which lunar phase you... What's the language that they actually use? The current phase in the lunar cycle can affect your meta magic, each lunar embodiment associated with a certain school. Whenever you use meta magic at school, you can reduce the sorcery points. You can gain greater control of your phases. As a bonus action, you can spend 1 sorcery point to change your current lunar embodiment. To change you, whenever you, which lunar phase you embody, Oh, let's do it this way. Whenever you finish this on, and you can expend 1 mana, and you can use a bonus action to change which lunar phase you embody. Let's see. So you're getting 15 spells for free, and you get unfettered access plus a bunch of free spells using the rules as written, and it feels too strong. So I want to curb that. So right away we're going to give you the 14th level feature of swapping your embodiment, but instead of costing you a sorcery point, we're going to let you do it for free. So you're going to be able to shift gears between the 5. Ooh, wait. Let's do this. And then we'll kick it. In addition, you can let's see. You learn additional spells when you reach certain levels of this class, as shown in the Lunar Spells table. Lunar Spells. Let's do it like this. Lunar Spells. But it doesn't count against the number of sorcerer spells you know. In addition, let's check out the innate sorcery feature real quick. As a bonus action, you can unleash the magic coursing through you for 1 minute, during which you gain the following benefits: the spell save DC. Okay, there we go. That's what we want to do. Innate sorcery. Whenever you finish a long rest, you can choose what lunar phase manifests its power through your magic. New blah blah blah. And you can cast the spells. You can cast the spells associated with your lunar embodiment while as though they whenever you finish a long rest, you learn additional spells when you reach certain levels as shown in the class. Each of these spells count as a sorcerer spell for you, but it doesn't count against the number of sorcery spells you know. Whenever you finish a long rest, you can choose what lunar's phase manifests its power through your magic. New moon, crescent moon, or full moon. You can cast the spells associated. You can cast the spells associated with your current lunar embodiment as though they are prepared. And if you are concentrating on a spell, you can cast the spells associated with your current lunar embodiment as though they are prepared. Period. The spells listed. We'll do it that way. Spells listed for your current lunar embodiment. The spells listed for the other embodiments are unavailable. Cannot be cast, but cannot be cast. Let's see. When you use your innate sorcery feature, you can use a bonus action to change which lunar phase you manifest, period. While your innate sorcery feature is active, you can use a bonus action to shift. So let's review again the innate sorcery feature. First level, we didn't get access to this thing at third. So at first level, as a bonus action, you can unleash the magic coursing through you for 1 minute, during which you gain the following benefits. DC increases, advantage on attack rolls. You can use this feature twice and regain all expended uses of it when you finish a long rest. So you get 2 uses of it, so you can start off in 1 phase, and you can use it twice per day, and for the full minute while it's active, you can repeat it, you can change it repeatedly. And then at 7th level, while your innate sorcery feature is active, at the end of the 1 minute duration, you can choose to extend the duration by expending 1 mana and maintaining concentration on it as a level 1 spell. The effect ends when you choose to, or you lose concentration. Now keep in mind, in the color mana mechanics, with the revised concentration rules, you can stack spell effects together and maintain concentration, but it increases the DC. So by 7th level, you can maintain concentration on up to 4 levels worth of spells at once, whether or not it's a 4th level spell, 2 2nd level spells, or 4 1st level spells. The DC increases to DC 10 plus the number of levels of spells that you're maintaining concentration on. And whenever you make a saving throw, whether you take damage or not, you have to you measure the result of the saving throw against your concentration DC. So if you are a 7th level character and you're maintaining a 4th level spell, your concentration DC is a 14, and whether you make an intelligence saving throw, dexterity saving throw, any saving throw, if you don't hit at least a 14, you lose concentration, all the spells are dumped. That is an excellent way, I have found over the years, to balance against the glut of spell points that you get from the spell point system. A big complaint is that spell points gives you way too much flexibility and gives you an abundance of spells when you might not otherwise have them. So by increasing the fragility of concentration, you are going to force the full caster that is concentrating to have to expend more action economy to get their spells up and running again, unless the team is using specific tactics to protect the caster from having their concentration disrupted at all, which is very difficult to do as you get higher and higher levels, as creatures have more and more action economy. So it becomes more and more difficult for them to be able to hold on to these huge buffing spells that can reshape combat. They become very squishy because they can't keep their shit up and running. Martial characters don't have that problem when they're using powers, but their spell casting, spells that have casters use also have this fragility. So it's a fun dichotomy, and it's worth exploring. It's in the color mana system that I have. It's down here. If you were to click on this link, again, click this link here, it'll pop and open the page to the bundle that I made. We're revising all these books for 2024, and the Spell Point Sorcerer is part of that process. But if you click here into core mechanics, you'll see this is a 75-page book, right? So if you click on full-size preview, you'll see here there's all 75 pages. So if we go down here to table of content, variant concentration rules, here we go. Multi-spell concentration. So you can see all the rules here for shared spell limits, blending spell levels together, duplicative casting. You can hold concentration on the same spell more than once to target other people if you want to. If it would normally be like a ritual that you would be able to cast for free, you could maintain concentration on that ritual and cast it as an action. And as long as your concentration is disrupted, you could end the ritual at any time and gain that mana back, untap the mana. So that's called simple magic. Rituals are simple magic. So like comprehend languages, detect magic, stuff like that. Tensor's floating disk, very simple rituals. Well, you can just turn them on as an action, and if nothing disrupts your concentration, you just turn them off and get your mana back. So that's a fun modifier for rituals. And then the concentration check here, 10 plus your total level. There's attrition that forces you to make concentration checks over time if you're doing like overland movement. So you aren't just spending one spell and to maintain concentration all day because you don't get into combat. No, weather conditions and deplorable conditions can force you to make concentration checks, and the severity of the condition represents how frequently you're required to make the saving throw. And there's also environmental conditions that can impact you, and what type of saving throws are required for the different type of environments. So there you go. Some very, and then for pain attrition, if you don't want to lose your concentration when you're hit by one of these attrition effects, and this isn't like in combat, like if you're forced to make a saving throw and you fuck it up, there it goes. If you're making an attrition save, which is specifically during exploration and downtime activity, if you fail your saving throw, instead of losing the spells and having to cast them again, you can just pay a mana tax and just basically pay the mana cost for all the spells again to keep them going anyway. So that's a fun way for you to differentiate between, am I in combat or am I in exploration right now? How frequently you're having to make these checks, so you can be brutal against your team, hammering them with saving throws for having bad weather conditions and deplorable conditions and environments they have to endure through. Because if today they're only going to have one combat, you're not going to expend their resources. But if you have to make that 17th level wizard spend 40 points just to get to Mount Doom so you can fight the dragon, now you're down to only 40 hit. You're down to only 40 mana today, and to cast that 8th level spell, it's going to cost you 8 points. That's expensive. You're now running out of budget. You're going to have to be really smart about it. So we talk about in the book. Check it out. We'll be also exploring these ideas more in 2024 rules once we start updating all of these books. So keep an eye out for that. I'll get this out of the way for now, and let's go back to the document here. So it counts as a first level spell to maintain concentration on it, but at 7th level you can maintain as many spells as you can maintain up to 4 levels worth of spells. So you can still maintain concentration on a 3rd level spell and also concentrate and keep innate sorcery on basically forever. You just can't concentrate on a 4th level spell while you're doing that because you've already eaten up all of your concentration budget. So pros and cons, balances and allowances. So we have the innate, we have the sorcery. So at 7th level, you can maintain concentration. It doesn't end after a minute. You can sustain it for as long as you want. It becomes a concentration effect for you. As an action, you can now, instead of using your innate sorcery feature, you can expend uses of innate sorcery to regain mana equal to your max sorcery limit, which at 7th level is going to be 2 points. You get twice. In addition, if you have no uses of innate sorcery left, you can use it if you expend 2 mana while you take the bonus action to activate it. So you don't get them back to then spend on more mana. That would create an infinite loop at level 9+. No, if you're out of innate sorcery, you can use your bonus action to turn on and then just spend 2 mana when you do it, and now it's on. You can't then expend it to gain mana. You've already spent it. So you have at 7th level, however long your mana holds out, you can spam innate sorcery as often as you want and keep it up and running as a concentration effect. While it's active, you can freely switch. As a bonus action, you can freely switch between what lunar phase you're embodying. So you can you can sequence through like what spells you want to have access to. So in my opinion, that's a lot more bonus approach to it. While your innate sorcery feature is active, you can use a bonus action to change which lunar phase you manifest. Let's see. You know what? I want to be more generous with this. You only get 2 uses of innate sorcery forever. That seems thin. Sorcery Incarnate. While your innate sorcery feature is active at the end of 1 minute duration, you can choose to extend the duration. You know, you have that already. Arcane Apotheosis. You no longer need to expend 2 mana to activate your innate sorcery if you have no uses left. There, you can just turn it on forever. That's 20th level. Let's modify it further. You have advantage. As a bonus action, you can unleash. You can use this feature twice and regain all expended uses of it when you finish a long rest. And 1 use. Nah, we're gonna leave that. Yeah, we're gonna leave that in place. I was about to say, and you regain a use whenever you finish a short rest, but that bag rats it. You start getting too many. You start getting too much mana back. I could nip your ability to get mana back, but it's regain mana equal to your max sorcery limit. I'm gonna get rid of that. I think the 100 mana is probably good enough. Now I can give you back short rest. And 1 when you finish a short rest. Innate sorcery. Is there something else in here? Sorcery subclass, meta magic, innate sorcery, sorcery incarnate. And then, in addition, as a 1 minute ritual, you can regain a number of mana equal to your max sorcery limit. You regain this feature. You can use this feature once. You can use this feature once, regaining it when you finish a long or short rest. There, I like that. I like that a lot. That makes me happy. Okay, Sorcery Incarnate. That looks good now. Okay, this all tracks. This is good. So that's fixed. And now it's like whenever, yeah, so while your innate sorcery feature is active, you can use a bonus action to change which lunar phase you manifest during your turn. Yeah, I like that a lot. So let's see. That's pretty solid. What else do we get? Moonfire. Moonfire. You can call down the radiant light of the moon on command. You learn the Sacred Flame spell, which doesn't count against the number of sorcery cantrips you know. When you cast the spell, you can target 1 creature as normal or target 2 creatures within range that are within 5 feet of each other. Okay, I'm good with that feature as is. Yeah, I'm good with that one. And then let's go to level 6. I'm going to start playing with stuff some more. We're making pretty good time today, guys. Gotta say, making pretty good time. My mouse is acting fidgety. Level 6, what do we get? Lunar Boons. Ooh, Lunar Boons. Lunar Boons. There's my 20-minute timer. How's our overall clock looking? I'm gonna grab this and lift it up. Yeah, okay. Got 20 minutes. Lunar Boons, how do you work? The current phase of your lunar moon embodiment can affect your metamagic feature. Each lunar embodiment phase is associated with a certain school of magic, as shown here. Whenever you use metamagic on a spell of a school of magic associated with your current lunar embodiment phase, you can reduce the sorcery points spent by 1. You can reduce the sorcery points spent for your metamagic a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus and regain all expended uses when you finish a long rest. Hey Steve, how you doing? Whenever you use metamagic on a spell of a school of magic associated with your current lunar... Okay, so if we're using the color mana system, we replace the 8 schools of magic with the 5 colors. Let's go real quick. Let's go visit the color mana system here. Here's our bundle. And let's click on the revised 5 color mana spell list because it's more ornate. We'll be updating this for the 2024 rules once we get the 2024 books published for this. But here's your 5 colors: white, blue, black, red, green. Here's the aspects of magic, like what do they generally represent? Divinity, healing, light, protection, restraint is white. Blue is like air, illusion, mind, suppress. Water, black, control, entropy, fear, soul, darkness. And then here's the damage types. Acid is black and green. Cold is white, blue, or green. Fire is red. Lightning is red. Poison is black and green. Radiant is white. Most of this stuff is incredibly intuitive, and like 99% of the time lines up with what Magic the Gathering cards already represent. So it's a pretty solid system. Of course, BPS is colorless. Anyone, whatever. So if you take these different aspects of magic, these ways you express them in game mechanically, and mix them with the damage types that spells can do, you get a matrix of what color spells is each spell. Like an acid splash is a 0. It doesn't cost any mana, but it still has a color identity. And since acid is black and green damage, acid splash therefore becomes a black and green spell. Hey, what's up? If I ran 5e, I would totally use the system. Right on, man. Glad to hear it. It would take you could use it technically with Pathfinder and Dragon, like Shadow Dark, etc. It's just that I did all the work for you in the 5e game system. But it works. It works in anything that has spell slots. Any game system that uses spell slots, you can utilize this system with, and in schools of magic and stuff like that. So your mileage may vary. But all right, back on task. But yeah, Magic. I'm a huge Magic the Gathering fan, and I'm a huge D&D fan. So mixing the two together to me is like bread and butter. So Beckney here. Oh, that's right. You're a Beckney guy. Big respect to the Beckney, my guy. Big respect to the Beckney. You can still use color magic as your language of expressing magic, but keep the Beckney flavor of each slot gets assigned a specific type. But you could still decide to limit yourself. Like if I'm going to play a Rakdos Beckney character, I'm still only using black and red magic. So you would have a spell selection of black and red spells after you categorize them. But that might be more work than you want to put into it. I wouldn't blame you if it is, but it can be done. It can be done. If you ran an MTG Beckney game, Anyway, Lunar Boons. So the brain rot I'm having right now is this feature. A, it's giving you free metamagic usage, and B, it's hinging on what type of spells. So full moon is abjuration, divination, enchantment, necromancy. Like a full moon could be white, a new moon could be black, and a crescent moon could be green. And that would be a different mix and flavor. However, let's go look at our list. This could be green. Don't necessarily like that. See, the current phase of your lunar embodiment can affect your metamagic feature. Each lunar embodiment phase is associated with a certain school of magic, as shown here. Whenever you use metamagic on a spell of a school of magic associated with your current... How about, what if we did this? Let's do this instead. Lunar Boons. Whenever you cast a spell from your lunar embodiment list, a spell on your lunar embodiment list, regardless of what phase you're in, you can, instead of, okay, so they reduce the cost of metamagic because the sources you have are limited. So for them to open up how many spells you can do per day, they give you free access. And this is the same sense. They're giving you free metamagic usage because they're trying to open up the mana pool. They're trying to open up how many spells you can use. But we already give you a fuck ton of spells. So you don't need more free. You don't necessarily need more free spells. But what you are capped on is metamagic usage. So at 6th level, you can cast 3rd level spells, but you're limited to 2 mana. So my proposal instead is whenever you cast a spell on your lunar embodiment list, you can, let's see, lunar spells. Sorry, I'm being distracted by background noises. Your lunar embodiment modifies meta magic usage, period. Whenever you cast a spell on your lunar embodiment list, your max sorcery limit increases by 1, allowing your to a max sorcery limit of 3 at level 6, 4 at level 9, 5 at level 13, and 6 at level 17, period. So if you want to cast one of these spells, you can overclock the metamagic. That could be useful for Ray of Sickness, Blindness, Deafness. That works. Useful. Not so useful. Maybe not useful. Useful. Potentially useful. Probably not. Potentially useful. Potentially useful. So full doesn't benefit from this nearly as much as Crescent, but New definitely benefits from that. New Moon very much benefits from metamagic. I'd say Crescent also benefits a lot from metamagic. Like, this has a lot more target creature effects. This is less so, more utility, AoE, and this is least so. And that is obnoxious. I don't know how to ignore that. I'm sorry, guys. There we go. It went away. Let's see. While your innate sorcery feature is active, you can use a bonus action to change which lunar phase you're manifest during your turn. And then your lunar embodiment modifies metamagic usage. Whenever you cast a spell on a spell, a spell listed. A spell gained from the lunar embodiment feature. There we go. Your max sorcery limit increases by 1. to a max sorcery limit of 3 at 6, 4 at 9, 5 at 13, and 6 at 17. That's actually incredibly strong and very simple. And there's no limit to how often you can do it. It's just going to cost you more mana. Ha! What's next? Okay, level 14, we've already established that level 14 triggers when you are using your innate sorcery. We already have a use of innate sorcery at level 3. I love that, by the way. I love that that this is leaning even more into the innate sorcery feature. That just seems particularly relevant for the Lunar Sorcerer. So level 14 is called Lunar Empowerment. Oh wait, there's waxing and waning. That's another thing. Hold on. Lunar, what's this one called? Lunar Empowerment. Do other things get more than one thing at 6th? 3, 6, 14, 18. No, fuck you. How about Storm Sorcery? Spells, power. 1, 2, 3. Jesus, you get 3 things. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plus spells. 1, 2, 3, 4 plus spells. 1, 2, 3, 4 plus spells. 1, 2, 3, 4 plus 5 plus spells. But this is kind of combined because no, you get wild. No, that still counts. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 versus 10. Yeah, and then the Wild Surge table counts towards the other 5 spells that you would get because it's like 20 some odd different abilities that you get. And then here it's 1, 2, 3, 4 plus 1. 1, 2, 3, 4 plus 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plus 1. 4 or 5. Okay, so that tracks. So we'll go with it. So Lunar Sorcery is at plus spells 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have budget for a 5th. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4 plus spell. Right. So what does Waxing and Waning do? Maybe it's worth keeping. You gain greater control over the phases of your lunar magic. As a bonus action, you can spend 1 sorcery point. Oh, we already did away with this feature. It's already been folded into the first one with the innate sorcery. Okay, great. So we can skip past that. Fuck you. Yeah. And then Lunar Empowerment goes like this. The power of lunar phase saturates your being. While you are in lunar embodiment phase, you can gain the following benefits associated with the phase. And then as a bonus action, you can tap into special powers during your current lunar phase. Alternatively, as part of the bonus action, you can take the turn. See, here they do that. As a bonus action, you take to change your lunar phase using the Waxing and Waning feature. You can immediately use the power of the... okay, no. We're going to skip past that. We're just going to make it a bonus action usage to trigger the effect. Maybe not. Let's just work the problem in the order that's received. Again, the power of lunar phase saturation. While you are in a, you can also gain the following benefits associated with that phase. So this is just a thing that you get. So, you can use a bonus action to shed bright light in a 10-foot radius and dim light for an additional 10 feet, or to douse the light. In addition, you and creatures of your choice have advantages on intelligence and wisdom saving throws while within the bright light you shed. No, I'm okay with this. This can just be blanket. You have advantage on dexterity stealth checks. In addition, while you're entirely in darkness, attack rolls have disadvantage against you. That's pretty good. There. You have resistance to necrotic damage. You can use a bonus action to shed bright light in a 10-foot area radius and dim light for an additional 10 feet, or douse the light. In addition, advantages, dexterity. Okay, I like those. This is supposed to be when you would gain features while. So let's see what the 18th level feature does, and then we'll see what we need to actually do. Lunar phenomenon. Nope. As a bonus action, you can tap into a special power of your inner lunar embodiment phase. Alternatively, as part of the bonus action you take to change your lunar phase using the waxing waning feature, you can immediately use the power of the lunar phase you are entering. Full moon. You radiate. Let's just do it like this. My mouse is being fidgety today. Do like that. Steve, man, I keep forgetting that you're not a 5e Beckney guy. I am flattered that you give a shit about anything that I'm doing at all here, considering how much 5e I sit inside of. I am honored and flattered and humbled. Thank you. Okay, we got rid of the waxing waning feature, so. New moon. You momentarily emanate gloom. Each creature of your choice within 30 feet of you must succeed on a dexterity saving throw or take necrotic damage and have their speed reduced to 0 until the end of its next turn. In addition, you become invisible until the end of your next turn or until immediately after you make an attack, roll, or cast a spell. As a bonus action, you can no, I'm just going to do this. We're going to trim this. There. As a bonus action, which can be part of activating your innate sorcery feature. There. Clean. As a bonus action, which can be... Why isn't this capitalized? Yeah, they're not capitalizing it in here. Isn't bonus action supposed to be a capitalized word now? Oh, no, this is first edition. That's 2015. That's why. This is 2014 version. That's why it's not capped. As a bonus action, which can be part of activating your innate sorcery feature, you can tap into a special power of your current lunar embodiment phase. Your momentary emanate gloom, you can magically teleport to an unoccupied space and take somebody with them and give them resistance to all damage. You radiate moonlight for a moment. Each creature of your choice within 30 feet of you must succeed on con save. Be blinded. In addition, one creature of your choice can regain damage. Once you use one of these bonus action benefits, you can't use that benefit again until you finish a long rest, unless you expend 5 mana. Five mana to reuse it again. Typically, the half casting cost, the cost to refresh abilities is going to correlate with whatever level you are as a half caster. If you were a half caster in level 18, you could expend 5 mana to cast a 5th level spell, because half casters can cast 5th level spells at 17th level. If you were to pick it up around 13th to 16th level, then it would probably cost you 4. From 9th to 12th level, it'll cost you probably 3, etc., 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 etc. So we've resolved Lunar Phenomenon as something that can be part of a bonus action when you're using an innate sorcery, or just whenever you want, and you regain use of it by popping 5 mana. I'm great with that. When you are in a lunar embodiment phase, you also gain the following benefits associated with that phase. No, yeah, I'm great with this. This is breaking mold, where we're having a innate sorcery feature trigger at 18th instead of 14th, but we also have an innate sorcery feature triggering at 3rd level, where you normally wouldn't do that. So 3 and 18 for this one, and 14 for almost all of the other ones. So this is making me want to go back through and see if there's other opportunities for us to tack on lunar sorcery innate magic stuff at lower levels. Like maybe 6 and 14, like it could just be 2, like maybe 2 at some point. It'd be like 3 and 18 makes sense, maybe 6 and 14, or maybe 3 and 14, or 6 and 18. I don't know. We could skew them out like that, but that makes sense to me. I like that. Hey, Myers. What is this? Hey, well, welcome to the mix, my guy. I am a 5e game enthusiast. I like the 5e24. I've been at this system for a while. I've made a number of books on the DMsGuild, which you can see down below. They're all free previews. If you are a Magic the Gathering enthusiast and you also like D&D 5e, these are 2014 rules, but we're literally right now going through the process of updating all of the rules for all of the character classes to use the color mana system in 5e. Wizards of the Coast owns both Magic the Gathering and Dungeons and Dragons, but they've done very little over the past 25 years to try to integrate the two of them. They have a couple campaign ideas that they've put out as books, but when they made the campaign, when they took the flavor of Magic the Gathering and brought them into D&D, they kept the D&D 5e game mechanics instead of the color mana system that made Magic the Gathering so popular. So we rebuilt the Magic system, and you can check earlier in the stream where we're walking through this, how to convert spells from D&D 5e into the color mana system. So this is the basic way of reflavoring them, like to recalibrate spells. So you have white, blue, black, red, green magic, and here's all the spells. Here's the damage types that are associated with each color. Here's the different like aspects. And again, these are all free previews, so you can check them out. And then the 2014, going back here, in 2014, we have Spell Point Warlocks. We have Elemental Key, which is converted into a color mana system, half casting for monks. Here's the core mechanics that does a deep dive into all of the actual spellcasters in 2014. Here's Arcane Tricksters and Eldritch Knights specifically. Again, all of these books are 100% free preview, so you can click on the free preview. And you can look at, like, here's how the mana system works. Here's the original breakdown of colors, but with only one color. The revised color magic that I showed earlier replaces this, so ignore that. We'll be integrating all of this into the 2024 revisions. But then we're looking at the actual color spell point system, so you get mana, and you can cast, the cost of a spell is 1 point per level of spell. A first level spell costs 1 point. A fifth level spell costs 5 points. If I wanted to cast Fireball, a red spell, it costs 3 mana to do it. 1 point is red, and the other 2 are any color that you want. If you don't want to worry about, and you would specifically assign each point in your mana pool to a specific color. So if I'm a Rakdos character, I'm going to use black and red magic specifically, so all my mana is going to either be black or red or a combination between the two. Whenever I take a short or long rest, whatever mana I have left in my mana pool, I can realign it, or I can devote it to a different color. So like if I only have black left but I need more red, I can take some of that black mana and turn it into red. If you're using a Dominaria campaign where you're using all 5 colors, it's up to you. I have some white, I have some blue, I have some red, I have some green. And then each of the spells, again, are assigned to different colors. You can research spells as downtime activity to make them permanently be whatever color you want. Or when you're preparing spells, you can choose to prepare a spell twice. Once in its native colors, and then you can choose to change it to whatever color you want. So you can either reduce the amount of spells that you can prepare, but have them custom built into a single color, if you wanted to be, a monocaster. Or you can diversify your mana pool and then pick the spells that you want of each color that you have, and then just keep recalibrating how much magic you have in your mana pool whenever you're taking rests. So you could also not assign points to colors at all, colors a point, and it's just universal spell points. And then if you say I'm a Rakdos character, then you would just choose from black and red spells and cast them as often as you want. But then you would have to definitely research the spell or learn it twice to switch to that color, because you're not being held accountable for the color. So interesting. I love homebrew, though I have been making my own system where spells are cast through a stamina mechanic, similar to spell points, but everyone has it. Yeah, everyone does their own homebrew stuff. This document that we're using right now, the entire document is here. This is the document you're using. If you go through my Patreon, you don't have to be a member. You can just click. We call it Martial Powers, because Martial Powers also converts all of the martial characters, the fighter, the barbarian, fighter, monk, paladin, ranger, rogue, as well as alternate options for artificers and warlocks to also use the color mana system. And we've converted all of the character classes for 5e24 to utilize the color mana system, to utilize the martial power system, which uses the same spell point system as the spellcasters do. So once all of this stuff publishes for the 2024 rules, all 13 character classes in D&D are using the same mana system to utilize class features and trigger effects. And you can utilize color either as a as just description, or to hard dive into assigning each point to a color, depending on how on how limited you can scale down the power of characters by forcing them to operate inside their color space, either with points or with description. But we have 190 powers listed in this book that martial characters can make use of, divided into exploits, maneuvers, reactions, strike powers, and sustained effects. And the entire system is in place. We're currently playtesting level 5 at on my Discord channel, which is also linked down below. We playtest on Saturday mornings. There's also meta powers, which are like cantrips that don't cost mana, but are things you can pick up. You can also replace the powers that you know. You can instead learn additional feats without the stat gains, so you can kit out your character just to have a shitload of feats instead of having to worry about your mana pool. So you can decide the level of complexity that you want in your own character. And then we got into the actual translations, like how barbarians use rage in combination with mana. You aren't casting spells, you aren't maintaining concentration, so it stays compliant with barbarian rage, for instance. I'm like up to 160 episodes of designing this system, and we've been playtesting it for about half a year now on my Discord. So yeah, you're welcome to deep dive into that stuff. Again, it's all this shit's free to use. People buy my books to encourage me to make more of them, not so they can get access to the information. And that pretty much closes out where we were at with Sorcery. It's actually time for me to go, so you showed up right in time to say goodbye. I like this take on the mechanics. Yeah, thanks. Again, just peel open the document, thumb through it. It's going to be read-only for you, which is a hassle, I know. But again, I can't give the material away because of how DM's Guild works. I can only share the alpha draft model, but it can't be something you can just take. I mean, you could do screenshots if you want. I can't stop you from doing that. But just be patient with me, and I'll have it on DM's Guild eventually. And once it is, you can just grab the free download if you want, or if you decide I'm worth your time, you can support me on Patreon or buy some of these books. I stream. I do the artwork for the books in the morning, Monday through Friday, and then Mondays and Thursday nights, and Tuesdays and Fridays I do game design for the books that I will eventually be illustrating. Once we design, play test, illustrate, and have them edited, we do the page layouts. Then we do all the artwork in the spots that are open on the pages, and then we publish on DM's Guild. And then I keep building with it. But all of this stuff I actually use in my own campaigns. I run D&D 5e from level 1 to 20 in about 250-ish hours over the course of like 16 months. And then when we finish, we start a new campaign again. I ran 4 campaigns from level 1 to 20 using 2014 rules. And we're about 11th level right now in our current campaign. So and that's been going on for about 9 months now. So yeah. And then I have the playtesting, the playtesting campaigns that I run on Saturday morning. Right now we're doing martial powers. Once we're finished playtesting that at level, we're doing a mega dungeon from level 1 to 10. Once we finish the mega dungeon, we're going to actually start doing character builds at level 11. 3-man teams of Mage Tower from Strixhaven, and we're modifying the Strixhaven rules so that it's like Street Tower or like Mage Street Mage, whatever. It's like a 100-foot field. It's a combat. It's 3 points per period. Whoever gets at 9 points first wins. Once you get 3 points, that period ends. You take a short rest. You get all your shit back, and then so there's 3 periods, and you take a long rest. So a single player can build a team of 3, or you can have 3 players on your team, each controlling 1 character. The DM can control an opposing team that synergizes and works together to fight whatever you build. Or if you have 6 players, everyone can have 1 character, and you're playing against each other, and then the DM becomes a referee. So we're going to start playtesting. We'll be doing that on Saturday mornings on my Discord server after we finish the Mega Dungeon. We're almost level 6 in the Mega Dungeon. So we'll probably be doing that until November, and then we'll start doing Mage Tower matches at 11, 13, 15, 17, 19, and 20. And we'll run a couple. We'll see how many people are willing to play, but we'll run a number of matches just to keep pushing the system without having to run a full campaign. I already play tested this with my home table from level 16 to 20, so I'm really confident that it's good at the 4th tier of play. It's just this low and middle ground. We have to get to a place where it feels good too, hence all the play testing. But yeah, we'll be doing Mage Tower, and then once we finish Mage Tower testing in the new year, probably around February, I'm going to be running a Storm King's Thunder campaign in Spelljammer to utilize the Kaiju War Golem mecha mechanics that I've been building for Spelljammer. If you want to take a look at my Spelljammer mechanics I published last year, they convert ship combat into 5e action economy. And again, this entire book is, again, full preview. It has over 180 assets in the zip file that you download. And it can also includes an entire conversion guide for Light as Araxis to show how these mechanics can be used inside of a game to make ship combat a 5e combat 6-second round of combat. Here's like a Neogi asteroid field that you're being hunted by Neogi fighter craft and motherships and blah blah blah. Anyway, it's got fleet mechanics and squadron mechanics. It's like if you go down to like the last chapter, there's the Zaraxis fleet of star moths that oppose. Here's the different squadrons of ships that you can assemble in Light as Zaraxis using the NPCs that are available. And once you assemble your fleet, you can fight the Zaraxan army fleet. And it basically just becomes like a 6-on-6. Like it's like 6 mounted orcs versus 6 mounted characters. That's the level of complexity that it operates at. Each of these squares is a 500-foot square to represent the space that they fit inside of. But 5-foot square, 50-foot square, and 500-foot squares all uses the same 5e action economy. It's pretty freaking cool. It's we actually did a Descent into Avernus campaign and Zaraxis to playtest this stuff, and that was a hoot. It was a hoot. Anyway, I'm over time, and I'm kind of just rambling. I might yoink some of these ideas. Hey, the ideas are out there, man. I can't stop you from yoinking them. So if you think they're useful, just consider supporting me somehow. And God bless you for the effort. And thanks for being interested. Check them out if you think they're cool. I build tools for people to use. On Mondays and Thursdays, I'm rebuilding the Bashing campaign system to be an ability check system. We're doing the martial power system. We're doing more Spelljammer stuff. That'll keep us busy for a while. So I'll probably be at this until 2027, and then at that point I'll figure out what's new, and we'll take it from there. See if I'm going to still play with 5e or if I'm going to move on to another game system or not. But I've been doing this since 2018. I've been a D&D DM since 1987. I love D&D. I love the IPs. And 5e, in my opinion, is by far just the best game engine ever to kit bash and homebrew on. So, but I'm over time. I got to go. I will be back tomorrow morning to do artwork for the Eberron campaign, for the Eberron adventure that we'll be publishing. And then on Thursday morning, I'll be back. And then Thursday night, we'll continue with the Bastion campaign, resolving Bastion events and conflicts and complications, rather. And then Friday, since we're finishing up the Sorcerer now, honestly don't know what we're going to do on Friday. I'll figure something out, but we'll be back. So if you think this shit's cool, like, subscribe, bell icon, get notifications on when we're live in the future. And swing by my Discord channel if you want. Hit up my Patreon. Thanks a lot. See you guys later. Bye.